Hey, Benicia.
Hey girl, hey.
What's going on? Are you ready? I'm so pumped about today's guest, girl. I
Me
can't.
too. I don't even understand this energy that I
What?
have this morning. I'm
I
so
know.
excited. Oh, I know what
The
it is too. I wasn't here last week, so
We
I'm so
missed you too.
excited. I missed
We missed
everyone.
you.
I did. I
Yes, it's
love
good to
everyone.
have you back,
Thank you. It's good to be back. And listen, I could not have come back at a better time because
girl.
our guest is thickety fire. I'm just,
Yes, he is. He is. I love to say he's a little brother of mine. He's just so awesome. I
mhm.
met him because it's a long story, but basically, the one common thing we have together is the incredible Dr. Cindy Trim. I was part of her
Mm,
coaching program, but when I
yeah.
went to, I love and I always talk about and you're strong, right? The
Yes.
week right after my summit so that I can recharge and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he prayed the place down.
Mm.
He had us look. I had, you know how you have that after a workout aches and pains and
Yes, I do.
that's how hard I was worshiping.
Wow, I love
He
it.
is, I mean, he's like the full deal, the full
Mm-hmm.
package. But I tell you what, he is so real.
Yeah.
He's like Dr. Cindy Trim, just
Mm-hmm.
a real individual.
Yeah.
I want to give you guys just let me say, Benicia, why don't you say good morning? Because they popping already.
Yes. Good morning, Militant Minster,
Yes.
Alma, Ama. Come on in the house. We appreciate you being here on today. I would say put your seatbelt on because this is going to be an amazing podcast. The you know what, Tanya? Behind the scenes in the green room
Come on.
is always just a precursor to what is going to happen on the podcast. And so
Right.
we were having such a good time.
We almost
we
didn't
got
go live.
we almost didn't go live. And so I am so excited just from what I've in this short time have experienced with Pastor Levi. I can tell he's an anointed man of God, a man of character, a man of integrity. And I'm just gonna let you, brag on your little brother because he is amazing.
Yeah, that's like an understatement. I want to share with you guys just a tad bit about him. Just a tad bit, okay? And then I want to give you a little taste of how awesome he is. But there's a couple words in his bio that just say it all to me.
Mm.
Unorthodox, cutting
Mm-hmm.
edge, creative, and we're seeing the spontaneity. We'll probably see it again today, but I know I experienced it firsthand. He
Yeah.
is so passionate about what he's doing and everything he's doing. He's doing a lot, you guys. he
Yeah.
he is a pastor, a speaker, a sought after speaker,
Mm.
and he speaks to not just his generation but generations beyond him. He's
Yeah.
well educated
Mm.
but remains grounded. I mean, we're talking Harvard University certifications, not
Mm-hmm.
just any certifications.
That's
He's a
right.
two-time best-selling author, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, anybody that can call Dr. Cindy Trim ma,
Mm-hmm.
that says a lot in itself, right?
That's right.
I want to know how he came up with Strategy
Mm-hmm.
Incorporated. So, and he has a magazine, Benicia,
Wow.
called Plastique.
Ooh,
Look,
I like it.
I want to bring him on, but
Mm-hmm.
before I do that, I want to share with you guys just a little bit of how this amazing man's head works. Okay, so right after this, we're going to have pastor, coach, and friend Levi Harrell take the stage, right? Take the couch, take it
Come
all.
on
When
in.
the sun shines, its ray, its glory hits the entire earth. That should let you know how powerful you truly are. Because if you are in your place, doing your thing, being your authentic self, being crushed to get the oil, crushed to get the glory, however you get to it, when you release it, It's beautiful. It's amazing. So I really want you to think, that book that you put on the back burner, pick it back up. Pick it back up. That song that you started writing but you never finished, pick it back up. That business plan you started writing and you threw it away because it felt too hard. No. Pick it back up because it produces glory.
What I say? What I say?
Yes, that was a good word.
And yes, and look what he says, sir. I'm here to tell you, you are important. You are very important.
I have to put my glasses on so I can make sure.
Thank you. Look, while you was talking, I'm over here getting nervous. Like, dang, I did do that. I did that. You don't think about it. I'm just here to live life and be happy. But listen, I'm so glad y'all invited me to be here. I'm so glad to be here. I love what you all are doing, and I too love you all's energy, your vibe, your authenticity. I'm just glad to be here.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yes, sir. You have so much to give, and I've seen you give freely of yourself to just to kind of share the spirit with other people. I want to know where that comes from, Pastor Levi. Where does that?
Well, to be honest, most people don't know. And I said one day when the Lord allows, I'll share more in depth of my story. But I had a hard life. I mean, don't get me wrong, mothers, grandmothers, all of them was great. But I dealt with very low self-esteem. You know, even if you look at the side of my face, this side is more narrow than the other side. I wasn't born that way. We believe I got bit by a spider, but that's a whole other conversation. But nonetheless, growing up like that, I would hide my face like this, or I would be called two-faced and made fun of. So then you add that at a young age, you have insecurities. Then I grew up without a father. And I watched my father raise his other kids, but for whatever reason, I was picked not to be raised by him. I don't know why. And no disrespect to him. I still honor him because he's still my father, but that's the reality of what it is. And so now I'm trying to figure out, how do I navigate the terrains of manhood without a father? My mother did the best she could do. My grandfather and the other men in my life did the best they could do, but it's not the same as being in the home. So I guess saying all that to say, when you deal with a lot of insecurities and the lack thereof, it produces something in you that wants to give people what you didn't have. And so I never forget in my book, Young Sir, I forget what chapter it's in, but my youngest brother was with my mother and I was at my house an hour away. And my youngest brother took my mother's keys. And my mom knew he had the keys, but he was bold and told her, I don't have the keys. I don't have the keys. And of course, he just didn't want her to leave the house. He wanted to be with his mama, right? So I called her to check on her. She goes, look, I believe your brother's got the keys. He's telling me he doesn't have it. And I chuckled because I knew he had the keys. Because if truth be told, I would have took the keys too. I don't want you to leave. but nonetheless, I put him on the phone. I said, Mom, put him on the phone. His name's Giovanni. I said, Giovanni, give Mom the keys before you and I have a problem. And I said it just as calm like that, but to the point. And immediately he's on the phone breaking down, crying. I just didn't want her to go. I didn't want her to go. But I say that to say that's the moment I realized I carried something that I didn't know I had. Because here it is, I grew up without a father. So I'm thinking I might not have the authority. I might not have whatever. And here it is, my brother is feeling this authority from me that I didn't know I had. Because how is it that you can stand in our mother's face boldly and say you don't have it? And here I am an hour away over the phone and you instantly broke down crying and gave the keys. So saying all that to say, I think that's kind of how I got here. I just trial and error, trying to give what I didn't have and just kind of figuring it out along the way.
That's so awesome. Look at God. Because I don't know why I'm echoing. Go ahead, Benicia, you do it and I'll figure it out.
So I think that is so powerful, Pastor Levi, because we know, I mean, I grew up without a father, and so I can relate to, you know, those insecurities and things of that nature. And I think it's so powerful for you to share that in that moment, even if you weren't very God conscious, that he allowed you to see that you have authority, and then to take that write a book, share that, begin to, allow that to shape who you are. I think in this generation, we need that. We need
Yeah.
men who have been there, done that,
Hmm.
overcame it, and now is willing and able, able,
Hmm.
have the resources and the right tools to help these young men.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about that evolution from that moment to really, becoming who you are, author, going to Harvard, all of those
Hmm.
things? What did that look like?
Absolutely. So like I said, growing up without those things and then kind of navigating terrains of manhood on my own, especially coming to Atlanta. We were talking about this in the green room prior to getting started. People love Atlanta, but I've been here 20 something years and it's still a great state. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen the good side and I've seen the bad side. And I realized that as I was trying to become the man God called me to be, I would try to submit to different mentors and leaders that looked the part. And I found out quickly, sitting under their tutelage, that they didn't have the capacity and they weren't the part at all.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to even articulate that because I'm all about honor, I'm all about respect. But the reality is, what am I honoring if it's not your authentic self? And so now I'm not being my authentic self by not calling it out, not necessarily to them per se, but realizing it within myself. And so all my journey from childhood to then going to school and getting mentors, I'm seeing people not be who they portray themselves to be. And it
Come
would
on.
disgust me and it hurt me. And then I'm going back and forth with God, like, okay, this is a pastor allegedly, and this is this allegedly. Why do I feel off? Am I out of order? What am I doing wrong?
Yes.
And when I finally broke through, realizing no, they've either fallen or it's fraudulent or whatever, God was like, you be what you don't see. There was no blueprint for it. There was no outline for it. So it took a lot of fasting. It took a lot of praying. It took a lot of consecrating because I had to navigate in the terrains of a life I only saw in my mind's eye. But I
Right.
tried to submit to people. I tried to do the normal protocols, but I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't find anybody,
Mm.
honestly, beyond my spiritual mother, that could help me with where I was trying to go. And so I
Mm.
think I went to Harvard to get certifications because I want to be an educated speaker and leader. You know, the
Mm.
way I met my spiritual mother, Dr. Cindy Trim, was because I went to Kingdom School of Ministry, not because I was trying to be in ministry, but I wanted to be a well-rounded speaker. I've spoken at juvenile
Yes.
detention centers. I've spoken at elementary schools, high schools,
Yes.
churches, like wherever you can be a voice of influence and empowerment, I've gone without looking for a dime, without trying to rub shoulders and get the next best
Mm.
whatever. I just want to help people get real information. Even in my books, when I'm coaching people about authorship, I tell people, don't just throw something together. Put
Mm.
your heart into that book because when
Mm.
you die, your words are still here. Even with
Mm.
Yes,
podcasts,
sir.
whatever, when you're gone, your voice print is still here in the earth. And if you have a voice, if you're going to write, then say something that's worth listening to or reading.
Mm. Mm.
So that's
Mm.
That's yes, sir. That's so good. First, I cannot ignore the
Mm.
fact that you're sitting in a Star Wars setting, so
Mm.
I feel like you're just so, you get ready to say beam me up, Scotty, or something. So I had to throw a shout out for that.
I
But
love
I
Oh.
do I do want to talk to and just based on what I'm hearing, the amount of healing that has transpired for you to find this Levi
Mm-hmm.
was a lot. It was a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mhm.
I want to talk to little Levi for a
Mm.
sec.
Mm.
Let me go
I
find.
want to ask little Levi, what, and it almost may sound harsh, but what in the world made you think that you could rise above all this? What made little Levi think, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do Harvard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I'm not just going to,
Yeah.
try to write, I want to be a good writer. I
Mm.
want to be a great speaker, because
Mm-hmm.
people have said the opposite about me. Talk to me, little
Yeah,
Levi, about working through that.
yeah. Great question. I loved it. I love
Yes.
it. I think I got to a point where I was going through so much hell that I'm like, I didn't put myself here. You know, you have some people who are in jail because they have a DUI. Sis, that's your fault. Bro, that's your fault. You know, but why am I in places and spaces and being put in scenarios that I didn't put myself in? I'm telling y'all, even when it comes to prayer, you were talking about with me praying, people like, oh, you pray so fervently and all that. That was birthed out of depression. That
on,
didn't
be
come
real,
just from a
Levi.
school. That
Yes.
was
So
birthed
good.
out of depression. That was birthed out of suicidal thoughts. That was birthed out of low self-esteem. And I'm looking at my grandmama praying. I'm like, well, God's working for her, but why isn't it working for me? I'm watching my mama pray. It's working for her, but why is it not working for me? And I've tried everything else. Please believe all these accolades. I am not perfect. I've almost had a kid at 18. I've been high as a kite, and I've been drunk as a skunk. And after trying all these different things, I realized that it wasn't it. It wasn't going to work. It
Yeah.
wasn't mending the depression. It wasn't fixing the low self-esteem. And so literally after you go through so much and try so much and nothing's working, I then said, well, not to be churchy, but let me try Jesus. And literally after pursuing God in prayer, legitimately laying on my face on the carpet night after night, not getting no response. He didn't respond the first night. He didn't respond the first month. I just kept going because at this point, I've exhausted every other opportunity that I'm going to get in his face and demand that I hear something
So
because
good.
I know he's working for my mom. So why am I not hearing it? So all of that birthed the intercessor in me. All of that birthed the confidence in me. And when the enemy is yet attacking you, I never forget one night, I was literally sleeping on the floor, basically homeless. And I was under so much torment that I couldn't even pray for myself. And I called my grandmother. I said, can you please pray? Because I'm all prayed out. And I put it on speakerphone and she just began to intercede. Next thing I know, I went to sleep and I got up. But my point of saying all that is after being in much prayer and fasting and pushing and literally fighting for my life. That's why I pray so harsh, if you will, or aggressive. It's because I had to fight for my life.
Yes, God.
Who knew me trying to save my life was going to birth a book? It was going to birth opening conferences. It was going to birth me go like I get asked to go places to pray more than I do to preach. You know? But it birthed from depression, and a lot of people think that it was just schooling. No, I went to schooling later on to get better articulation and to fine tune the gift that I once I realized it was a gift. Because you got to realize I was in survival mode, and what I survived turned to a gift. And then when I realized it was a gift, I said, let's fine tune it. And then to answer your question, I said, now I have the audacity to say, you know what? Bump what people say, bump whatever. I'm going to do what God has called me to do because what do I have to lose? You don't judge me. I got folks mad at me because I pray too hard. But it's funny how on one side, someone's mad that I'm too hard, but then on another side, someone's like, that just broke. So you can't win with people. So at this point, I'm going to do what God called me to do. If you like it, cool. If you don't, bless you real good.
Yes, that's so true. So many people see the glory, but they don't know the story. Everything that you've had to go through and encounter. So powerful. I want to go back to, I cannot just skimp over. I mean, you said so many meaty things, but
and look, y'all might have to stop me at times because I get the going.
No, this is what the platform is for you to go. We want it. Everything you have, lay it on the table.
Yes, indeed.
But one thing you said that was so powerful was, the wrestling that you had between yourself and God when you were under these different leaderships, just trying to search your heart to make sure you were being honorable and being respectful, right? But when did you come to the place where you recognized that it was okay to accept what you saw and to move on and, continue to seek God where your next would be? Because I think so many people get stuck because of that very reason. Well, this is a man, this is a woman of God. I want to be loyal, all of those things. But how did you come to grips to be able to break that?
There was one particular season of my life where I was under so much stress of trying to help carry a ministry, being the intercessor, being the armor bearer, being all these different things. And it got so bad because, of course, when you serve that close, you're not allowed to say things. You're exposed to things that are not moral, that are not ethical. And so now I'm having this war with, okay, I'm here to uphold the leader. But what do I do when the leader is not upholding the kingdom? And so now I'm in a conflict of,
Yes.
this is against my personal morals and ethics and values. And if it's your job, is it worth the check? Is it so worth the check? Because as I already stated, I'm the type of individual where if I'm gonna do ministry, I'm gonna do it for real. I don't claim to be perfect, but I'm just
That's right.
saying, if we're gonna do it, let's do it for real. That's why our world is the way it is now. And so it got to a point at this particular season in my life where I was under so much stress that Sundays became the worst day of the week for me.
Wow.
While God was able to use me to help cultivate an atmosphere, and everybody's like, praise God, praise God. They had no idea that I was hurting and I couldn't stand it. And I'm thinking all types of thoughts when I get home. Like literally, it would take me 2 or 3 days to unwind from the torture of Sunday. And so I say that to say, it then got to the point where my skin broke out like I had chicken pox. And I was so nauseous. I have pictures of it. I got another book coming one day. But,
Yes, sir. Look,
but
I
I
got space
remember,
for you in my anthology. Say shameless plug.
yes,
I got a
yes.
chapter with your name on it.
Come on here. But with that said, I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor said to me, sir, you are under so much stress.
Wow.
And your body is trying to release the toxins out of your body. And needless to say, the place I was at, nobody cared. Nobody asked if I was okay. After I stood through all these different things, whatever. And then it was just, are you going to be here Sunday? Are you going to deliver? Are you going to? So to your point, is that you get to a breaking point like, wait a minute. I should not be hurting my physical body to uphold something that God is not even breathing on anymore.
Jesus.
Because of false loyalty and because of false commitment and because of what's on social media and what's on whatever for people to think, am I serving God or am I serving man? And so I got to the point where I said, I am no longer going to have my physical body be under attack and hurt to uphold something that is out of order. And that's when I took my personal power back and I said, I'm done. I was attacked for taking my personal power back. I was lied on for taking my personal power back. But guess what? It's fine. Because when I go to sleep at night now, I have so much peace. And I haven't broken out a day since.
You know what, guys? Let me tell you. Let me update you because that was so powerful. In fact, that it knocked Facebook out.
Wow.
So, what? I'm getting all kind of messages saying Facebook may have ended your broadcast. So this is a first. It's never happened before.
Yeah, it still says live on my end, Tanya.
Yeah, it's live. It's still feeding to YouTube. So you can put the YouTube link in case they're having difficulty with Facebook. Because it just told me that, and it's saying on Facebook in my phone that it's ended. The broadcast has ended. But thank you, Leoline. So we'll keep pushing, but you so strong, sir.
Look, I'm looking on here and saying it's not even available. That's weird.
Well, we available and we're gonna keep going.
Okay,
I'm gonna post it right now so people can go to www.ariseandshine.live.
YouTube?
Yes, that's the YouTube channel.
Let me share it with my people.
We see some people on here.
You ain't got no power on here. No, sir.
Well, we already knew what was going on this morning, that this was going to be so powerful and relevant and freeing. I feel freedom today.
Yes.
I feel freedom because I didn't even plan on talking about this.
That happens, let me tell you.
Feel freedom.
Yes.
So, we'll let you get situated, but I have a question about these 12 principles.
Yes.
Hold on, text 12 principles. Yes.
Yeah, so the book is called Young Sir, 12 Principles for Becoming a Man of Character, Commitment, and Courage. And so, of course, as I told you, growing up without a father and all of that, I had to navigate the terrains of manhood on my own. And so, on my journey of discovery, I said, well, since I'm going through it, I might as well document it. And during documenting it, I did not plan to write a book. I just kind of dealt with the areas in which I struggled in, such as the purpose principle, the love principle, the vision principle, the humility principle, the service principle, the leadership principle, every area that I struggled in. And I got my own working definition for it. I put it in the book and I compared it with the cultural definition, if you will, and a biblical definition. However, when you read the book, you'll know this scripture, but I didn't say the Lord said. I made it universal for everybody. And I just kind of go through the journey of my life of how I figured out how to do this, how to do that. The story I told you all about my little brother, that's in that book, because it was real life stories and moments that helped me navigate life. And so I put it together as a guiding post for young men who don't have a father, or they did have a father, but he wasn't emotionally present, but he provided, and also women can read it as well, because a lot of women are single mothers of sons. You're either aunties of sons. And if you want to understand the mindset of a young man, it would be great to read. And then the other thing is as well, is there's a lot of grown men out here who might be old in age, but their mind is still young because they got arrested development when that tragic situation happened to them, or whatever the case may be. So it's loaded. And at the end of each chapter, I ask some questions to help them kind of journal, and I leave some pages so that way they can just write it all there, such as the vision principle. I tell them to go ahead and make a vision board. We talk about it. My email's in there so they can email it to me, because I'm like, I really want to do life with you. I don't want you to just read the book and that's it. Email me your vision board. Email me your questions so we can have life beyond the book. But the book will be the catalyst to get the conversation started.
That is so good. I love it because for me, when I read your bio, I say he is so well-rounded. And I think sometimes we get lost, as anointed as you are and as powerful as you are. To your point, you went to Harvard because you wanted to be able to articulate things better. So you knew that there was a sense of practicality that needed to, accompany your spiritual gifts. So can we talk a little bit more? Somebody might be watching and they're like, okay, no, let me go back. Can you share the story? Because it was so powerful. You shared it with Tanya and I, but you can give the audience a little bit about your brother and the incident with the keys.
Yes.
That was
my fault. Look, in my mind, I was like, oh, one big show.
No. I'm like,
yes. So I was sharing with them how my younger brother years ago was at my mother's house, of course, and I'm living an hour away. And my mom was about to leave, and he took my mother's keys. And my mom was going back and forth with him saying, hey, give me my keys, give me my keys. And he just declared that he didn't have them. He was confident about it and bold about it. And when I called my mom to check on her, she told me what was going on. And I said immediately, oh, he's got the keys, because I would have took the keys. I get it. He didn't want her to go, just like I wouldn't have wanted her to go.
Yeah.
But I said to her, I said, put him on the phone. And so I said to him, Giovanni, give mom the keys before you and I have a problem. Just as calm as that. And immediately he broke down crying, and he was like, I just don't want her to go. I just don't want her to leave, or whatever. And then he gave over the keys. But it was in that moment that I realized that although I didn't grow up with a father, and I felt as if I didn't have authority because I didn't grow up with a male figure in the house, I realized in that moment that God already wired me with everything that I needed to be successful. And I found out in that transaction because my brother responded to an authority in my voice, to an authority in my spirit, that no disrespect to my mother, but there was a disconnect somewhere, which goes to show that's why there's certain females that could talk to certain females, and there's certain men that talk to certain men, because it's just the way we're wired in our DNA. And so that moment helped me realize, wait a minute, I do have authority. I do have power. I do have confidence, and I don't need to listen to the lie of the enemy trying to make me feel less than because I didn't have a father in the home tangibly or what have you. And so there's a lot of situations, if we all look in our lives, where we have those, like Oprah calls, those aha moments of like, there's something here. There's something here. So yeah.
That's powerful.
You a powerful somebody. You a powerful somebody.
Thank you.
You know, and what blows my mind about the leadership, I mean, I might be like maybe 6 months older than you, but still you're just 6 months. But it just makes me feel so good and so encouraged to see what is coming and what's holding it up behind us, you know, because the generation before you prayerfully sets a path for you to make things happen, but it's still your decision to excel. It's a personal decision. So every person in your generation is not the same. Some sit on their gifts and some move on their gifts. So to see you moving and encouraging others to move makes me so happy, because that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Recognizing their power.
Like we were talking about earlier with my spiritual mother, I've been learning so much from her. And I was telling her how her being my mother is the most healthiest relationship I've been in from a spiritual mother, spiritual son dynamic, because she's literally saying, I've paved the way, stand on my shoulders. But then sometimes my generation can get startled because we're not used to hearing that. It's like, are you sure you really want to stand on your shoulders for real? And I'm so grateful and thankful that I have a leader that literally is saying, sir, stand on my shoulders. Every time I go forth, I'll never forget at Kingdom School of Ministry one year, I got done praying and we go in the back. She's like, boy, you can pray. And I'm looking at her like, ma'am, what are you talking about? Do you not know that you're
Cindy Trim?
Like, what are you talking about? But that's because she's allowed me to stand on her shoulders and allowed a safe place for me not to hold back and go full throttle. Man, there's been times, and I won't call names, but there's been times I've been places praying and I have to look over my shoulder like, should I pull back? Should I stop? Should I? You know? And it's like, who's got time for that? And so I'm so honored to be able to keep the gospel going, and because it's a progressive gospel. And as you stated, I'm on a mission to get anybody who I'm attached to tap into their gifting, tap into their anointing, so they too can go do their part in their industry, in their sphere of influence, and just spread the gospel, spread good vibes, positivity. Even if you're not necessarily a faith-based individual, go be nice to somebody. I don't care. Like, just go buy somebody a burger, do something. I don't know.
That's so good. And can you expound a little bit more? Because I think Tanya and I both just lit up when we were talking in the green room, when you were talking about being in a healthy relationship and the importance of someone being healthy. So can you talk a little bit more about what the dynamics of that look like? I know you talked about being a safe place, her being non-judgmental, not insecure. Can you talk a little bit about what does a healthy relationship with a leader or anyone, what should it look like?
Absolutely. I'm gonna say it like this and then dial back. Just at the End of Year Strong conference this year, she was talking about how in this dispensation, this next generation no longer needs permission. Times have changed. If you know that you're gifted to sing, gifted to write, gifted to do whatever you're called to do, then go do it. You don't need permission to do it. However, it would behoove you to find a pastor, a leader, or a mentor to help cultivate your gifts and fine tune you. With that said, if you go to your pastor or you go to a leader or a potential mentor and you say, look, these are my goals, these are my dreams, these are my desires, and they laugh at you or they act like it's crazy, that is your tell-all sign that they don't have the capacity for you. Doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means something's wrong with them, and it's not a fit, and it's okay. We gotta take the negativity out of it. Just because you can't teach me the way I need to be taught doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means something else. I remember in college, they would look at me like I was being rude because on the first day of class, I would ask my professors, I say, look, I am a visual learner. This is what I have to do. These are my goals and my dreams. Can you teach me this way? If not, respectfully, I need to find another professor that has the capacity for me. And the students are looking like, who is he? How could he say, how is it being rude? I'm aware of what I want.
Come on.
So if I'm going to pay for this, I need you to teach me the way I need to be taught. But here's
So good.
As a teacher, as a coach, as a mentor, as a preacher, I put that same responsibility on myself. If people text me and call me and say, Pastor Levi, I need prayer now, guess what? I stop and I pray right there. If they say I need this way, I stop and I do it right there, because I'm not going to request what I don't do. And I'm not going to operate like that. So saying all that to say, you must be in a healthy relationship, because now, because of the way Dr. Trim leads me, I'm able to realize it's not my job to hold you back. It's not my job to stop you. It's my job to help bring articulation to what you're feeling and lead you in the right direction for you to accomplish what God called you to do. And if you need me, if you fall, I'm right here, not to chastise you, not to beat you up, but to say, let me brush your shoulders off and let's get you back on track and do that. So that's the importance of a healthy spiritual relationship, mentor-mentee relationship, because you're there to help. Prime example, I'm also working at operations at a academy here in Georgia, and I'm an after-school teacher. And my students were getting on my nerves yesterday, if I'm honest. At the same time, one of them slipped and fell, and they were running when I told them not to run. And as much as I want to say, I done told you, here I am picking them up. Are you okay? Are you good? You see why I told you that? Please go have a good day. Because I can't help it. I help people. That's all we're called to do.
That's so good.
People are not to kiss your butt. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, even Bishop Tomlinson said that to me. He said, as a son, there is nothing that I need from you. My job is to pour into you. So saying all that to say, when you have a gift, when you have a talent, when you have a calling, yes, go seek counsel. But if they don't have the capacity for you, then remove yourself. Do not feel guilty. Do not feel wrong. I don't care if you've been at a church for 10 years. That might have been 10 years of you growing. But now you're in a different place. Grow on and be who you're called to be.
Amen.
And only in the church we make that negative. When you're in school, you have a teacher for the first grade. And when you're done, you grow on to the second grade. And then you grow on to the third grade, fourth, fifth, and sixth. You don't keep the same teacher in every grade. But for some reason in the church, we act like it's a problem when you grow on somewhere else. And there can be situations where you have a pastor, a mentor, and a coach, and a spiritual father, because they're not the same.
That's right.
They could be, but they're not the same. Your pastor could be that person that pours into you on a weekly basis on a spiritual level, but that does not mean that they have psychological acumen to help you with your practice in your world of business.
Come on.
Woo,
So
you
good.
teaching up in here.
You
Wait a minute. Praise break. Praise break. Do you know how many captives you have set free in the past 7 minutes?
Listen, I'm just trying to help.
Look, you are too much. I had to interrupt you because look, I had to take a deep breath for a second.
Right. Y'all, everybody watching online, inhale, exhale. Told y'all, I get fired up. Y'all, that's why.
Oh my God.
This is like Placida said, this is some serious counsel that you need to be taking notes. If you have not already shared this broadcast, you need to bless somebody's soul with the counsel from this gifted man of God. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet because and I apologize if you can't find your space, but I hope the Holy Ghost will take it back.
You're fine. But just as I was saying though, you have pastors, you have coaches, you have mentors, and you have spiritual coverings. And there are some people that can be all for, but that's not always the case. And I think so many people are hurt and messed up because they're looking for all of this in a person that might not have the capacity. So when you talk about me going to Harvard to get certifications in different places. It's because I want to make sure that I had the capacity and I did the work. Yes, I might be called, but just because I'm called doesn't mean I don't know everything.
Come
Pastor
on.
does not mean you know everything.
Come
Just
on.
because you've been in office for 20 years does not mean you know everything.
That's right.
The trade secret to having a successful business career book is you always remain a student. I am reading something every single day. I am listening. Matter of fact, it's so bad. My friends will tell you, if I don't listen to something edifying every single day, I get angry. I get mad. It's like breakfast. I cannot go without eating. I cannot.
Yes.
Every
Yes.
single
Angry.
day. Right. I have to do something because not just for myself, but people are depending on me. Those of you
That's
who are
right.
text message group, they're always like, Pastor Levi, how did you know I was dealing with this? And I'm all the way in Washington State. How did you know I was dealing with this? And I'm in South Africa. It's because I'm tapped into a frequency that every day I'm having a conversation with God. This is not a game for me. This is life, man. Like, this is not a hobby. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is my lifestyle. So to say, to get to these points real quick, a mentor is someone who can help you seasonally. A coach is someone who's not supposed to necessarily tell you what to do, but they give you enough principles and acumen for you to make the decision on your own. And a spiritual parent is not your biological mama. I'm not looking for Dr. Trim to do what my mama will do. It's for, just like it says, spiritual. So if I have spiritual questions, if I need spiritual prayers, warfare, whatever, I go to her for that. I'm not going to her, but something I would go to my mom about. And you gotta figure that stuff out. And that's a whole other conversation, to be honest. So I'm trying
Yes, emotional maturity. Yes, sir.
It makes sense. But it makes sense because what I'm hearing from you is that as you became healthy, you were able to make healthier decisions, be it spiritual, practical, because you were able to funnel it through a healthy place without allowing people to put you in a box. I love the description in your bio that talks about being unorthodox and cutting edge and spontaneous and creative. And I want to ask you this question. When it comes to being healthy, you said one thing about being comfortable, right, in what God has called you to be, and then being able to recognize people you attach yourself with that doesn't make you feel bad or uncomfortable about the way that God gave it to you. So how can you encourage individuals to be authentic, to be transparent, to be healthy, and not to let people make them feel a type of way, but also to be healthy enough to not make other people feel some type of way because they're not doing it like you are doing it?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is always trust your gut instinct. That's number one. I don't care what sphere of influence you're in, ministry, it doesn't matter. Trust your gut instincts. You know when something feels right and when it feels wrong. But you're then taught to override what you know and what you sense because of false loyalty, commitment, whatever. However, though, educate yourself to understand the true tenets of loyalty, the true tenets of servanthood, so that way you're not being, because that's the other part. There are people who are stubborn, selfish, all that. This can go so many different ways, but you have to always remain humble and check yourself first and say, God, am I getting in my own head or are they trying to hold me back? What do I do with this? Don't be so quick to pop off. I've gone silent for years about stuff that was getting on my nerves because I want to make sure that I knew that I wasn't making a Levi decision, but I was really tuning into something isn't right. Now, it don't take me years anymore because I know I can shake your hand and know that you ain't it. I don't even I can look at you and know, that ain't it. That ain't it. You'll never know because I'll smile at you. I'll hug you. I'll make you feel great.
Thank you, Jesus.
But I'll be like,
yes, Lord.
Yeah, and so stay humble, stay attentive, pay attention. Don't be so quick to rush into business deals or spiritual father, spiritual son relationships or different scenarios. Sit listen, see the character traits of people that you're trying to surround yourself with versus what they're saying. Because everybody talks and shows their representative. But after time, you begin to see, wait a minute, there's a flaw there. There's something there. And even if there is a flaw, if you're graced to partner with that person, then you'll also be graced for their flaw.
That's good.
Like, oh no, I didn't know. No. I was telling someone the other day about assistance and all that. If you're called to assist somebody and you're in the private space with a leader and they might have a human moment and you see something, now you're like, oh, I can't do this. You were never called to them anyway. Because if you were called to them, you would have the capacity for that. Now, again, that's within reason. I don't want to take that out of context. That's within reason. But you have capacity for it all. So at the end of the day, healthy makes you smile.
Yes.
What keeps you up? Like it's really that simple. Do you go home and have peace? Or are you staying up at night because you feel uncomfortable and something doesn't feel right? And I don't know why sometimes people wait until they see something manifest that's not right versus going with what they felt in their spirit. Stop waiting till something goes wrong for you to make a decision. You have to sense it and know it within yourself and say, nothing's wrong with you. I don't know, but for me, it's just not okay. I'm telling you. That's my saving grace, being able to boldly, confidently, and respectfully say, I'm not okay with that.
Yes.
I'm not okay with that.
Yes.
Because you're taught, just shut your mouth, just take it. No. Again, respectfully, no.
That's right. That's right.
But no, sir. No, ma'am. I don't have to take that. And then when you go get education on top of what you feel, be it spiritual, academic, whatever, you're able to realize, especially in the world of psychology, that is a trauma. That was manipulation. I'm telling you, if your skin is breaking out because you're under so much stress, at what point are you going to take your personal power back and say, that's not okay for me?
Come on.
Not okay.
Yes, sir.
There is a difference between growing pains and abuse.
Yes. And self-inflicted abuse, Pastor.
That's right.
Self-inflicted 9 times out of 10.
Yes. So I hope that helps. Like you said, when it comes to how do you identify. My friend told me the other day when me and Doctor were live, they were like, you're smiling genuinely. And I said, yeah, because this is real.
Yes.
Even with y'all. The reason I'm running my mouth because I feel comfortable with y'all. This is real.
Man. Yes.
And it's simple as that. It's time out for trying to put on for people and fake the funk for social media and technology.
Come on.
Either we vibe or we don't. Either we like each other or we don't. And again, it doesn't make anybody bad. It just means I'm not your cup of tea. You're not my cup of tea. So go to Starbucks and order some more tea.
Different tea. Get your tea. They got flavors. Get your flavor.
Right. If you don't like Walmart's tea, go to Kroger.
And it's okay.
It is. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. And that's
right.
And that's the other part, because we feel victimized or villainized for choosing you. Choose you. Again, just like you have a favorite food. You're not going to go eat squid if you don't like squid. Don't let somebody make you say, no, you got to eat squid to rock with me. No, I don't. I'm not a squid eater.
That's right.
I love it.
It's as simple as that. It's really that simple.
It's so powerful because not only are you saying choose you, how about invest in you? How important, Pastor Levi, let's talk about learning to love you, be healthy, and invest in you. And in those seasons, you may not be able to be everywhere and be everything to everybody and do it without feeling guilty. Can we talk about how important that is?
Absolutely. The first investment you need to make, especially if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, especially, of course, like you all who are coaches, sleep. And I say that because that's major for me. Because if I don't get adequate sleep, I am pouring from an empty cup. We always make it spiritual on the word, but no, sleep is major. Invest in your well-being. Even going to get a massage to release tension and all of that stuff. You must do that. But then also investing in yourself, such as reading. Literally, you should be reading something at least every week. I won't put every day on you like I do. That's just me. But at least every week. It's imperative, especially as parents, again, as leaders, you cannot give what you don't have.
Amen.
And I hear a lot of people talk about how they might have grown up in poverty or they might have been in different situations. Yes. However, just because you were born there doesn't mean you have to stay there. People think money runs the world, and it doesn't. Thoughts and ideas do. If you think your way out, you can get out. I am a product of thinking my way out. I love my family. I thank God for them. They've been a great foundation and support system. But I am one of the ones in my family now who they look to for guidance, because I'm just charting new territory and I'm not afraid to do it. But that's because I've watched documentaries. I read tons of books. One of my favorite movies that I would challenge people to watch, or documentaries rather, is the Quincy Jones story on Netflix. Watch that. It's about 2 hours, but it's really, really good because it shows how Quincy Jones went from eating rats, trying to survive, being in gangs. And we don't realize Quincy Jones is the soundtrack to the life we live. What do I mean by that? Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, Oprah Winfrey, Quincy Jones, Will Smith, Quincy Jones, Sanford and Son, Quincy Jones.
Wow.
How is it that this man came from where he came from and literally had no musical background whatsoever? And in the documentary, he stated how he walked past a room. He saw a piano and something on the inside of him walked the piano, did not even know how to play it. And he figured it out. And now he has cultivated the soundtrack for so many syndicated shows, movies, and all of that. And here's the caveat. How are you responsible for Michael Jackson's success? Michael Jackson's dead and gone, and you're still here.
Come on, Jesus.
Brain surgeries. I want to give the whole thing away, but it goes to show that when you invest in your craft, when you invest in yourself, when you're your authentic self, even when life comes to get you, he talked about having alcohol poisoning, all the different things. He should have died at least 10 times, but purpose kept him alive. That's why you invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself, purpose will keep you alive. Depression is a byproduct of purpose. Suicidal thoughts are a byproduct of a lack of purpose. When you tap into purpose and destiny and cultivate it and invest in it, it will keep you alive. We've all been there. You could be tired as a dog, but when you know you got to get that client done or write that book, there's an energy, there's an aura that comes over you that will help you do what you couldn't do in your own strength. He puts his super on your natural. And so it's imperative that you invest in yourself spiritually, mentally, recreationally, and find a balance. I'm in this space now. Don't be so deep in spiritual that you don't.
Tanisha, he's in our conversations and everything.
He is, and I was just going to say, can we talk about balance? What does that look like?
Yes, you've got to find balance. You have to, as a single man, don't get me wrong, I'm a single man. I have feelings too. And when I feel myself feel like, man, I want some loving, I go see my nieces and nephews. And I go love on my nieces and my nephews. And it fills me up. It fills me up. Even from a pastoral perspective, in my text message group, these people are like, you text us every single day, nonstop. And I said, because I'm giving you what I'm getting in my life, and pouring into you pours back into me. So while they're saying, thank you, Pastor Levi, for pouring into us, I'm like, no, thank you for receiving it. Thank you for listening. So you find balance by knowing when to stop. Like I said, go get some sleep. Go watch a movie. Go get a massage. Go laugh with some friends. Just last night, I was tired as a dog, and my brothers were like, y'all, let's go get something to eat. And we sat at the restaurant till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't want to do it at first. It's like, I'm tired. I got to be with them in the morning. But I needed that.
Yes.
I needed that conversation. And that too. being around people that truly know you, where you can let your hair down
Yes.
and be that 18-year-old you used to be, and be
Yes.
that 18-year-old you used to be in a safe environment. You've got to have it. Because if you don't laugh and release the endorphins in your body, or your happy juices, if you will, you're going to walk around mad and angry and all. I ain't got time. I got time.
None.
That's right.
No time. That's so good. We
It
know,
is so good.
even in the midst of what we're going through, pandemic, all of this, I find, like you said, life is going to come with its own trials and tribulations. I don't
Mhm.
want to add
Mhm.
unnecessary pressure and all of those things by being in the wrong place, attaching myself to the wrong people. Certain
Mhm.
things are ordained, we have to go through, but I'm
Yep.
not trying to add anything else that
Exactly.
was unnecessary. And to your
Exactly.
point, it helps when you're healthy, you get to pick and choose. I remember when I wasn't as healthy, so I just went along with everything. And like you said, you come home, you're miserable, you're
Yep.
unfulfilled. But when you're healthy, you get to say, hey, I like hanging out with this person. I don't really
Yeah.
like hanging out with this. I'm not doing that no more. And
Yeah.
it comes
Can I
with
be honest?
power. It
Can I
comes with
be
power.
honest? Some of
Please.
my
Please.
closest friends are people who are not even in ministry at all.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
And I'm
mm,
not
mm.
saying that to knock it, but
Right.
there are people who just say, I got friends, one in particular who I found out actually has got people who work at the Pentagon, which I had no idea, was like, I don't even care what you do. I just like having a conversation with you. You need
Mm,
that.
that's
You need
good.
unbiased people. And like we were talking about earlier, one of the reasons why I stated that sometimes I struggle being here in Atlanta is because a lot of people here are looking to get to their next. And you don't know who's connecting with you because they genuinely like you, or they're
Mhm.
connecting with you because they're trying to get to so and so,
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
But here's how you find out who's real. Let somebody spread a lie or a rumor on you and
Mm,
Mm.
see if they stick around. Because I've
Yep.
had stuff like that
mm,
happen, and I've watched a whole bunch of people get flaky off of some stuff that was just thrown out there that wasn't even legitimate. And I'm
mm,
grateful though, because I was able to say, "Yup, see how to operate with you. Yup, see how
mm.
to operate with you, and keep it moving." Now they're calling me, "Hey, can you whatever?" I don't even pick up the phone. Get out
I
of here.
know it.
I'm
Mm,
Right.
grateful.
And
yes.
they're
Because the
going to be
scripture says,
those.
if you can't suffer with me, you can't
Mm, you
reign.
can't reign with me.
That's
Come
right. So the
on.
ones that are taking off their earrings and saying, "Tell me where to go, Pastor Levi, I got
Listen,
you."
them the ones I'm
They-
going out to eat with.
That's right. That's right.
Meanwhile, I'll tell them, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But that passion lets me know you care for real.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just here to just get what yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So you just gotta find that balance, find real people, and
mm,
do what authentically makes you happy. And I'm gonna say this last thing and hush.
Right.
Even with this world of social media, a lot of people don't even know what makes them happy.
Mm.
You think you want to go to this restaurant because it's where you want to go. When truth be told, you want to go there because you saw this artist that you love who posted
mhm.
on Instagram. Now you want to go.
Yeah.
You don't even like those clothes. You only bought those
Mm,
clothes because Kim Kardashian had them on. That's you don't even
mhm.
like that.
Yes.
So I really want people to really identify, what do you actually like? What
Yeah.
makes you authentically laugh? Because when you tap into that, that's when you'll even tap into a greater level of purpose, self-awareness, self-identity. And that's what even produces a greater level of glory and anointing in your ministry, in your business, and all of that, because you're preaching from a healthy place. You're coaching from a
Yeah.
healthy place. You're
Yeah.
preaching from a rested place, not even just rest with sleep, but rest in your body. Like,
Yes,
Mhm,
sir.
it's so much that we just don't even preach about and teach about. And it's like,
mhm,
stop it. Stop
mhm.
it.
Yeah. I mean, this is so
And I
good because
digress.
well, Pastor Levi, it's
Mhm.
like you've been with us for the past, I don't know, maybe a while.
I
Okay, we'll just
know.
put it like that because
So
you're
good.
speaking, and before you say the word identity, I'm like, this is identity, which is something
Mhm.
that we're
Jesus.
pretty passionate about here, especially
Mhm.
Benicia. That's
Mhm,
something that she works with people on. And
Mhm.
mhm,
if you don't have that, then you're
mhm.
just flailing
Yes.
literally through life.
Yep.
And so to hear that validation comes from you means a lot. It really does,
Yeah.
because there's so many lost folks in this COVID and a Ramakan, whatever they named the new one. And it has people messed up, alone, isolated, ill, mentally, spiritually, physically. They're lost. And if we're not real with them, they're not going to get better. They're not.
Right.
Your ministry is just a gift. It is a gift. So keep doing what you're doing. I want to know about some of the stuff you have going on. You mentioned the text group a couple of times. If I need to put something in the chat, because I'm sure there's some people in the room right now that are like, I want to get his text every day. So let us know.
So my personal ministry, as you mentioned earlier, is called Strategy, and I spell it different. It's STRAT.I.JEE. And it's called the Strategic Collective, versus saying Levi Harrell Ministries and all that. Nothing against that. I just want to be different. And that name came because I realized we are God's greatest strategy. We are Him in the earth realm. And when people say, I want to see God, I want to feel God, well, look at you. Look at you. Look at you. We are all different facets of who God is, and we are His greatest strategy. On the flip side of that, what up, Lynn? I see you. On the flip side of that, on the flip side to that, and Miss Mary, I see you too. I love them. On the flip side to that, everything to life is a strategy. Christianity is a strategy. The school in which you go to is a strategy. And I really believe that where a lot of people break down once they identify their life's purpose and their mission is the strategy of execution. And so I preach the word of God, but I also lace it with business acumen. So last year in January, I launched an authorship masterclass teaching how to write a book. Then I had a branding masterclass, because now that you're an author, how do you brand it? How do you market it? And all of that. And so typically in my mind, if I were having weekly services, which will be coming soon, it would be a matter of Sunday is the word of God. But Wednesday is the business portion of how we operate. Because we look at Jesus, He was the Son of God, but He also had a trade.
That's right.
He didn't just do this, He did other things as well. And so the whole point of strategy is helping people identify their life's goal, their mission, their purpose, but then figure out how to execute it in this season. And then also realizing that just because you did this in this season, that might not work for the next.
That's right.
It is quickly too. I look at it like a vehicle. You have a vehicle and you have 4 tires. And you have a goal that you're trying to get to, but each tire represents a different strategy. And so if you're saying you want to own a home, you're in your car driving down this road to get to your home. But the way you do that is one tire is your 9 to 5. The other tire is your hobby. The other tire is your spiritual awareness. And the other tire is your balance, family time to keep your mind on this road. But as you're journeying up the road, one of those tires might pop. So just because the tire pops or the strategy stops working, it doesn't mean throw the car away. It means change your tire, change your strategy.
That's so good.
That's
And oftentimes when we mess up, we're like, so-and-so don't like me. Okay, the season's over. Go get a new tire. Go get a new friend. It is what it is. So that's what that is. And so right now we meet daily in my text group, which you can text 404-737-1411. Again, that's 404-737-1411. And you could just text your name to the number and sign up, and you could be a part of the group. And literally, there are people in this text message group from all over the world. It's completely private. So here's how it works. I'll send out a message that goes to everybody, but the dialogue starts when you text me back. And it's just you and I talking. So anytime they send me prayer requests, it is private. Nobody sees it. I don't have an assistant looking at it. Everything comes directly to my phone, and it's me, and I talk to you daily. I can send videos. That's how some of these people are on now, because I sent the link via the group to my direct people. And the reason why I have a Facebook group too, but I really love my text crew because it's just different. Like these are the people that say, I want to do life every day. I'm in this every day. I'm not just here for the fluff. I want prayer, declaration, and business strategies every day. So that's that. And then in addition to that, on my YouTube channel, that's where, like the clip we played earlier, you'll see different empowerment messages. that kind of come out like that. And right now, because we're in this world of media, I'm just kind of capitalizing on that right now. And I'm in prayer about planting, because the majority of those that support and follow are literally all over the world. And so I'm just kind of like, how do I plant when my people are in South Africa and my people are in Canada and my people are in Washington and all of that, you know? So the goal going into next year is to start creating just gatherings in different cities where we'll do pop-ups maybe once a month, gather there, as well as do a community initiative as well. But the hub will be virtual. The hub will be what it is right now. But there's a lot coming, but that's just kind of that for now.
That's so
awesome.
I feel like I went to Thanksgiving dinner. I'm just so full. I'm just so.
I feel like I'm talking too much. God,
no, you're awesome. You're just great, and I'm so grateful for your yes. We've been trying to catch up with each other, and you're a big man.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that this actually came to fruition. I know you feel like you're talking a lot, but you know, you just dropped some powerful stuff on us today.
I'm glad. As long as
replay for sure.
No, it's been a blessing. You know, Placido's like, no, you're not talking too much.
I'm here, but I'm gonna keep talking just for you then.
Well, you know, I don't know if Benicia has another question for you, but I do want to ask you, and we're just going to disappear for a second, because you have a huge heart. I know from your stories and the posts that you do that you're a man that's not embarrassed to feel, and you share all the time. So Placida said, pass the offering plate. I want to give you the mic by yourself, the screen by yourself for a minute, to just speak your heart about something that's on your heart that Pastor Levi feels strongly about. All right. And we'll come back and we'll close out. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit. No, I'm kidding. I'll say this. In 2020, God told me that the next 10 years of your life will be game-changing years of your life. But it's what you do with it and maximizing it that you'll get there. And he said you're either in one of four places. And those who already followed me heard me say this. You're either beginning for the first time, you're either beginning again, you're either reestablishing, or you're going to the next. Again, you're either beginning for the first time, you're either beginning again, you're either reestablishing, or you're going to the next. What does that mean? That means I never started my business. I never wrote my book or my song. So I'm going to start now to get that thing done. Or number two, I'm beginning again, meaning I started my book, but then I got in my feelings, or I started my song and then something happened. I lost my material. Well, now is the time to start again. Or number three, you're reestablishing. What does that mean? I have this coffee cup here that says QT. The branding colors are brown and red and white. But in this next season, it might need to be purple, green, and yellow. I don't know. So go ahead and reestablish your brand so that way you can go to your next. Or you're in the fourth stage where you said, I've done everything God told me to do. I've done everything I knew to do. And now God is saying, let's go to the next stage of spiritual maturation. But whatever that thing is, I really want to encourage you all, especially as we're transitioning to a different year and different season. Pick up your goal in your dream. There is nothing wrong with working for people and having a 9-to-5, but you should utilize that 9-to-5 to fuel your goal and your mission and your vision. Because I'm telling you, you can serve on a spiritual level or serve in an occupational level for years and feel like you have nothing to show for it later on. I do not believe you should wait till your 60s and your 70s to go on your dream vacation. You should be able to go on your dream vacation now. You should invest in yourself now. Take your personal power back. Take your dominion back. Take your authority back and be who God has called and designed you to be. Get out of your own way. Stop sabotaging yourself. Stop thinking you're just a statistic. Stop thinking you're just another number. Stop thinking that if I do this, I'm going to lose friends. Look, if people leave you for being your authentic self, then that simply means that they don't have the capacity for you and they're not assigned to you. I preached a message about a year or so ago called Scars, Scales, and Wounds. And I was telling the individuals in the room at the time that if you telling your story offends somebody, then that just means that's not your audience. Don't let their criticism stop you from telling your truth and being your authentic self, because I assure you, there are billions of people in the world, and somebody needs your yes. Somebody needs your story. Somebody needs your song. Somebody needs your life. And when you begin to be your authentic self, it creates a frequency that others will tap into and they begin to draw to you, but you will not find them and they will not find you if you're not being true to you. So I want to encourage you, be true to you, the good, the bad, the ugly. Nobody's saying be perfect. God's not looking for perfect people. He's looking for perfect pursuit. So if you even say, God, I don't understand it all, but here's my flaws. I worship you with my flaws. Because we like to worship God and just say, oh God, I love you. God, I honor you. God, I shabak you. But no, God, I'm having a bad day today. But even with my bad day, I worship you with this. Even in my being in my feelings today, I worship you with this, because it's perfect pursuit. It's not about being perfect. So I need you to understand, on a good day, on a bad day, on an indifferent day, God is still going to bless you and favor you, but he cannot breathe on what he didn't ordain. So you have to be who you're called to be. Do it with your quirky self. Do it with your crazy self. Do it with your whatever self. Do what God has called you to do. And I assure you, God is going to set you up for major success over these next 10 years. It is syncopated. So you must jump on this. Don't wait till tomorrow to do what you can do today. And I understand you might be a mother. I understand you have to work your 9 to 5. I understand you have a lot of responsibilities. But even if you just take 5 minutes a day to journal, 5 minutes a day to write, 5 minutes a day to pray, do something every single day. And I'll say this last part. I got this from Will Smith. Oftentimes, people like to look at the whole wall, the whole vision of what they're trying to build, and it gets overwhelming. But stop looking at the whole wall. Your only job is to lay the perfect brick every single day. Don't turn around trying to see what anybody else is doing. Don't turn around trying to see how far you've come. Just lay the best brick you can lay every day. Be the best man you can be every day. Be the best woman you can be every day. Be the best father, lawyer, pastor, entrepreneur, author. Be the best version of that every single day. And that is how you yield lucrative success with longevity. So when you hear them read my bio and talk about all that I've done, half this stuff I don't even remember doing. Why? Because every single day I'm just being true to myself to be the best man I can be every single day. And because of that, it's causing people to draw to me. And as they draw to me, I lead them to Christ. So be you, do you, unapologetically, fearlessly, and boldly arise and shine, for the light has come.
I love it.
I love it.
We love you. Thank you
I
so
love y'all.
much.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Oh, it was amazing. My day, my week,
Amazing.
my month, my new year, everything. Just,
Yeah.
you've impacted so many. You should, well, you already in the comments, but just you can see that you've touched so many, right, B?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, we just want to say one, Tanya and I always come to your point with a posture of humility, right? So we eat first.
Yeah.
And so we're so grateful that you have fed us, you have fed all that have tuned in. But we're even more grateful to see a young man so passionate about the things of God, so passionate about telling his story to help other people. Tanya and I, our heart for men is so big. We
Yeah.
know, you know, like men are so significant, not only to the body of Christ, but to the family as well. So
Yes.
thank you for your yes. Thank you for doing the work, because, you know,
Yes.
we can talk about it, we can preach it, but to live
Mhm.
it is something totally different. And so I
Right.
love the 3 words in regards to the principles for the book that you wrote. And today, I just want to say, Tanya just wants to say that we thank you for being a man of character, your own words,
Oh
a
man.
man of commitment, and a man of courage. It indeed has changed our lives on
I'm trying to
today.
jerk a tear. You're not going to do it.
It's messing me up. You already messed me up.
But really, sincerely, we couldn't
Yes.
even imagine all the lives that you've
Thank
touched
you.
before you've touched ours. And I
Thank
just want to say, stay encouraged.
Yes,
I'm sure
brother.
there's things
Yes.
that your heart desires, and I just want you to know that God has not forgotten. He's going to do
Yes.
that exceedingly and abundantly
Above all.
for you. So
Yes.
don't get distracted.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we need you. The kingdom needs you, and
Yes,
we
yes.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate that. That
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
appreciate that, and I receive it, and I believe it genuinely.
Yes.
So thank
Amen.
you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
All right. Well, you can wait for us in the green room if you like, or if you have another appointment.
Nope, I can wait.
All right. We'll see you in there in a minute. We're gonna say
Yeah.
goodbye to our fam real quick.
All righty. Well, thanks again for having me, y'all. Take
You're
care.
welcome. Thank you.
Yes. Girl. Isn't God good?
When I say I'm gonna hit replay myself,
Girl, well, wait a minute. Why Facebook tried, but they did not win.
oh,
Look at here.
come on.
Because God is bigger.
He is way
God
bigger.
is
My
bigger.
God, my God. I just want to talk to the audience for a second. If there was one thing, one tip, one aha moment for you, then there is someone else that needs that tip, that aha moment. We are asking you if you would please share this podcast. You know, we're not all about our name and just being out there, but we are all about pushing the kingdom forward,
Yes,
using the
God.
men and the women of God
Yes,
that
God.
He lays on our heart to come on this podcast. So please, please, please just share, because like Pastor Levi say, we just want to be a blessing. Isn't that right, Tanya?
Yes, we do. Yes,
Yeah.
we do. I mean, I'm not often speechless,
Yeah.
but there were so many nuggets.
Yeah, it was powerful.
So many of them. And
Yeah.
if you just implemented one, you would radically change your life.
Yeah. Amen.
You know, and so the just the power of a young man standing tall in his authentic self, sharing and saying to you that you matter, you know, and he's real with it, because it every day is not 100%. And he says that and he lives that, and it's okay for you to live and say that as well. I'm just so happy that you joined us this morning.
Yes, thank you
So
all.
happy. You know, Placida said she literally needed this, like more than breakfast, food today.
So good. So did I, Plassy.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
So we are in a place of gratitude.
Yeah.
Just grateful for you, grateful for your loyalty to come back. And for the folks, there's so many of you that watch the replays, because, you know, noon Saturday doesn't work for you. And we respect that. We're just doing what God told us to do. But we're so grateful that you come by and you come through later.
Absolutely.
Please share the replay.
Yeah.
And
subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, do that.
Yes, please. We appreciate that. You'll see previous podcasts. You'll go back and be able to replay. So yeah, subscribe, share, like, all the above. Come back, all of it.
And I know Pastor Levi talked about if you had that book in you, right? Well, you guys know Arise and Shine is doing their anthology.
Yay.
So if you are feeling like you want to heed what the pastor said, said, I was going to say, the pastor said it.
He said it.
So
I heard
look
it.
here, right? So let me share this video with you. We say thank you. Take a look if you're interested. You're welcome to join the team. Just reach out to us. And we love you, right, B?
We love you. Absolutely. Have a good evening.
Yes.
Yes, yes. It is time for a Black Friday.
Hey, it is time for the Arise and Shine anthology. That's right. We've been talking about it, and it's finally launching. Don't you want to be a part of an extraordinary anthology project? So go to bit.ly Arise and shine now and get more information, or just watch this video and fill out the form at bit.ly/arise and shine now. All right, y'all.